Shalom Aleichem. Today in Mishnah Yomi land, we're in Sanhedrin, chapter 2, Mishnah Hey. Then we'll be moving on to chapter 3 in just a minute here. Ein rochvin al suso. No one may ride on his horse, meaning the horse of the melech, the king. Vein yoshvin al kiso. And you can't sit on his throne, meaning they were going to have to make a new throne for each king. You can't recycle the previous throne, and of course no commoner could sit on it. Ve'ein mishtamshin b'sharvito, and no one can use his personal staff, rod, like his official king stick. And this is similar to the Sharvita Zahav, the golden staff that was mentioned in Esther, in the Megillah, when Achashverosh extends the stick to show that he's favoring Esther, even though she's coming in without asking first. I think the official term is a scepter, the royal scepter. Ve'ein roinoto koshumastaper. And even when he's alive, you can't look at him when he's getting a haircut. Now, obviously, the official royal barber would be looking very carefully at what he's doing because he had to keep the king in tip-top shape. The Gemara points out that, if necessary, the king would even get a haircut, meaning get a little style, get a little trim, make sure everything's even, every single day, if necessary. So the royal barber certainly would have to look at what he's doing, but no one else should be looking at the king taking a haircut. He doesn't have his royal crown or kippah or tefillin on. Room, and not when he is undressed. And not when he is bathing. These things are, very bad for the dignity of the king and the dignity of the Jewish monarchy. Shneamar, as the pasuk says, Som tasim alecha melech. Placing, you shall place upon yourselves the king. This is in Devarim chapter 17. Now this som tasim is a doubled verb. We've mentioned that's an emphatic form in Ivrit, in Dikduk, in Hebrew grammar, when there's a verb that's repeated. That makes it very much emphasized and very emphatic. You must really place the king on you. You must place him above you and maintain his kavod. Shetehei emato alecha, meaning the awe of the king should always be upon you. You should never see the king in compromising or undignified situations. Now on to chapter 3, Dine mamonot bishlosha, monetary cases with 3 judges. That's the first 3 words of Masechet Sanhedrin in the first chapter too. But now we're going to explain how we pick the judges. Ze bor lo echad, one litigant picks one judge. Ze bor lo echad, the other party picks one judge. Ushneim borin lehem od echad, and they get together and pick the third judge together. Divrei Rabbi Meir. That's according to Rabbi Meir. The Chachamim Omrim, the other sages disagree. They say Shnei Dayanim borin lehem od echad. They say the 2 judges get together and pick the third judge. So each party, prosecution and defense picks one, and then those judges pick the third. The Mishnah adds, Zay posel dayano shel zay. One litigant can object to the choice of judge the other one makes. V'zay posel dayano shel zay. And vice versa. They can object to the choice they make. Divrei Rabbi Meir. This is according to Rabbi Meir. They can say, listen, I don't like the judge you've picked. Now, the Bartanura gets into detail about what's going on here based on the Gemara. We'll keep it simple. See the Rav Bartanura Parish for details. Chachamim Omrim, the sages say, Matai, when is this true? Bizmon shemevi alehen raya, when a litigant can bring proof, shehen krovin o psulin, that they are related, they're cousins, they might be interested, or they're puzzle, maybe they're gambling, or they're engaged in sort of suspicious or not very great financial activities. But if these are kosher people, the sages disagree with Rabbi Meir. They say you can't object to a kosher person even if he's not an expert. Avol im hayu kisherim, if they're kosher people, they're not related, they're not engaged in thievery or gambling or similar activities. O bumchin, or they're experts, eno yochol lefoslan. One litigant can't object to the judge choice of the other. And the Gemara explained, we mean, if they're kosher people, they are effectively mumchin. They're effectively experts. Now, even if they're not really experts in chosh and mishpat, in the halachot of judgments, well, they'll consult the Rav, they'll consult the chosh and mishpat, they'll figure it out. But as long as they're a kosher person, and they know enough to decide the case, that they would be suitable to be a judge, and they couldn't be objected to. Again, see the Bartanura for the nitty-gritty here. The Mishnah adds, Zay posel edav shel zay, v'zay posel edav shel zay. One litigant can disqualify witnesses brought by the other side, and vice versa. Divrei Rabbi Meir. This is according to Rabbi Meir. Now, this is only in a case, the Gemara explains, when one, the prosecution has two sets of witnesses. Well, it's really dinei mamonos. There's no real prosecution. So we'll say it's Reuven and Shimon. So Reuven has two sets of witnesses, and Shimon can join with Levi out in the shuk and disqualify one set of those witnesses. Now, if Shimon, the other party in litigation, was disqualifying all of Reuven's witnesses, he would be what's called nogeya b'davar. He has an interest in this testimony because he's kicking out the witnesses of his opposition, and that's to his financial benefit, his dinei mamonot, so we wouldn't believe him to do that testimony. It's only where Reuven has two sets of witnesses, and Shimon is finding Levi to corroborate his claim that, maybe they're cousins or maybe they're gamblers, and get one set disqualified, then he's not nogeya b'edu because Reuven still has one set that's kosher. The Chachamim Omrim, the other sages disagree with Rabbi Meir. They say, Matai, when can a litigant disqualify witnesses for the other side? Bizman shehu mevi alehen roya, when they can bring in external proof. Two other witnesses, Levi and Yehuda, can come in and testify on Shimon's behalf about Reuven's witnesses. Shen krovin psulin, that they are related or they have another psul, another issue that prevents them from being trustworthy, reliable witnesses. Of all, but imhayu kisherim, if they were just regular kosher guys, not related, not gamblers and the like, einu yachol lafoslan. You could not kick out the witnesses of another side, even if Reuven actually has two sets of witnesses, because you never know if you can summon all these guys to court. They're all going to be in town for the trial. So really, you're not allowed to disqualify any of their witnesses unless you have external proof, not your own word, that they're actually legally disqualified. Yeshar koach tizku lemitzvot.